go. I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
you got
Yay.
okay. All right, we're good. What's going on?
Yep, we're good. Oh, normal stuff. Same old, same old. How about
All right.
yourself?
Everything's good. Where are you located?
I'm located in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. We're close. I'm in Kansas
Yeah.
City, Missouri.
Yeah, you're like
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah, we're down the street, so to speak. Down I-70, I should
Exactly.
say. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, it's great to meet you. I'm looking forward to getting into your work and what you're doing. It's fascinating. And before we do that, I want to know, you know, 4 years ago, this pandemic really kind of turned everything upside down, rearranged
hmm
things for us. How did you survive that time period, and how did it change the way that you do work now?
Man, it's hard. I was actually working at a chiropractic office when that happened. So I had to kind of step back from that office and started working in the marketing department or section of the office, I guess to say. And that's kind of where I decided to get my bachelor's degree, finish that up, and then this whole travel thing came about. So I've been able to kind of use my marketing skills for that as well. So it totally changed me for the better.
So you have a lot of things that are going on between podcasting and travel. So I want to get to the heart and soul of what you do now in
Mhm.
2024 on a daily basis. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids at career day, let's say third graders. One of the
Okay.
kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I'm going to tell them that I get to travel the world. I get to see a lot of really cool places, and I talk to a lot of big brands about what I do. And I also like to go and play with puppies while I'm on vacation as well.
So what did you want to be in the third grade?
Oh, in the third grade, actually, I think I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay. So you
hmm
got the puppy part down. So take me back to where you were born and raised and how these seeds of wanting to see the world and to communicate that with people and be a storyteller. How did all of these get woven into who you are today?
So let's see. So I've been in St. Louis, Missouri my whole life. Born and raised. Lived here since 40 years or so. I don't want to say exactly how old I am, but you know what I
Right.
mean. Uh, so moving, I'd actually had never really traveled at all when I was a kid. We went to Branson and we went to Hannibal, and that was it. And they're both in Missouri, and they were boring, so to speak. Sorry, I was a kid. But from there, I actually took my very first solo trip when I was 8. My mom put me on a plane and shipped me over to my grandma who lived in Los Angeles. So I kind of hung out with her for a couple weeks and got the feel of it or whatever. Saw my beach for the first time. It was Santa Monica Beach. And at the time I was 8, it was a little terrifying, so to speak. So I kind of didn't really have any desire at all to travel until I hit my honeymoon back in 2013. We went to Punta Cana, and the very first time I saw a real beach, my life was changed. So I totally became obsessed with it. I told my husband that I was going to do everything I could to make sure that I was able to travel as much as I could. My goal became to see as much of the Caribbean as I could because I absolutely love the islands down there. So I'm working on that goal now. But what really was how I was able to do that was by using credit cards and points and that whole thing. So once I was able to kind of figure that out, I was able to start traveling more. And then my son was kind of like, "Hey, mom, you should create a Facebook post or for everybody or a Facebook page for everybody so that they could see all of the pictures that you've taken and on all the places that you traveled." And I didn't really think it was going to be that fascinating because, it's just me. So it started out as a faceless page. I started posting just pictures that I had taken with inspirational quotes attached to them. And then it just kind of blew up from there. So it's been about 18 months or so, and I've moved into the podcasting. We've also created a boutique. So we've kind of just dabbled. And I'll be honest, we're kind of just throwing stuff at the wall, the darts, to see what happens and what sticks. And the things that do stick have been really fun and really successful. So I'm excited about it.
So who's been an inspiration and a hero for you in your life?
Both of my kids. I know that's corny. My oldest is in the army. He is up in Alaska right now in infantry, and I think that is just the most amazing thing of what he's been able to accomplish. And then my youngest has just been my true motivator. He's really pushed me into doing all this. He's been the one that has been like, "Mom, do this, you can do it." So he's been really great for me. And then of course, my husband has been incredibly supportive as well. So yeah, all the boys in my life.
Excellent. So if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating or interesting, who would it be? Who would you love to meet and
Ooh.
talk to? Or the dream podcast host or guest, I should say.
Man, I think I'd probably like to interview the points guy. He's been, like I said, a huge inspiration for me. Without his strategies and stuff, I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am. I definitely wouldn't have been able to travel at all, really. I don't think. I think mostly, maybe Gulf Shores, the U.S. stuff, but I don't think I would have actually made it out of the country. So, yeah, I think that would be a really awesome interview.
So, what is the motivation for you every day to get up to do the work that you do? You got a lot going on. You're obviously highly motivated. What is that n- gives you that thirst for travel and to evolve as a human being? What are all of these elements that make you do it?
Well, I mean, let's get a little personal here. I actually suffered from severe anxiety for a few years. So being able to go outside of that comfort zone of myself and actually start to travel and do a little bit of solo travel, I was able to kind of, figure out who I was at the core. And that's really been my biggest motivator. I'd like for other people to be able to experience that and be able to, give back to the communities that they're visiting and that sort of thing as well. I feel like that whole bit of it is really important, and that's kind of the piece that's missing right now. So I just want to make sure that everybody can get out there, live their life to their fullest, enjoy it, because we don't know how long we're going to be here, and things are crazy. So now is the time to do what you can, create these memories with your family. And I like to be able to kind of bring people who aren't able to do that content, so that way they could see things outside of their normal realm, and maybe it'll motivate them a little bit to kind of get into the points game or whatever it is, and find an awesome beach to go hang out with too.
So, what's one of the most magical places you didn't expect that you've traveled to? And then what's the place that you really want to go to, you absolutely would love to see?
Yeah. One of the places that shocked me the most was St. Martin. I had no idea. It's an amazing island. It's very, like, a lot of people don't really travel to it because it's a little harder to get to from the US. And a lot of people really only visit it on cruises. But it's so unique in that there's two different countries on one island. There's two totally unique experiences on each side. And the beaches were absolutely amazing. I had no idea that they were that blue there. And then Maho Beach, of course, where you get to actually watch the airplanes fly over your head, I thought was an amazing experience. So, and then as far as where I want to go, I think my ultimate bucket list place would be Mauritius. I don't know if I'll ever make it there because it's basically the exact opposite side of the world that I'm on, but I think it would be absolutely amazing. That little, underground waterfall visualization or whatever that's there is really cool. So I think that'd be awesome to capture.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Just to keep going. Consistency is key. That's one of the things that I think that I was missing towards the very beginning of all of, I've been an entrepreneur for, I can't tell you how many years, and I've dabbled in a bunch of different things, and nothing's really been that successful. And I think the key reason for that is that I haven't worked my business every single day. Whereas this business, I do. Every day I'm on socials, every day I'm talking to people, going into, we're doing the podcast now, so we're expanding, we're adding, more marketing and that sort of thing. So I think that when my friend told me that, hey, you need to stop, jumping around, you need to be consistent with what you're doing, and then you're going to actually see results, that was what clicked with me, and I think that is definitely key.
So, of all of the things that you've done and accomplished in your life, what are you the proudest of?
This one's corny, but definitely my kids.
Yeah.
They were crazy. I was 19 when I had them, so trying to raise two boys, they were 18 months apart, was definitely difficult back then. But I think that they've turned into some pretty great human beings, and you know, pat on my back.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
So, speaking of that age, if you had a dream tonight and ran into that version of you, say right before you had your kids, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you impart on that young version of you?
I would probably tell that person that you definitely need to stick with a great health regime. um, and that also, like, you really don't know where you're going to be in 20 years, and that life happens. So just keep pushing, keep doing what you can. Let the universe kind of take hold of whatever and let it be. So yeah, I think just kind of going with the flow. I was a little bit more crazy back then.
Yeah. So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, everyone around you, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'll be honest with you. I still kind of have imposter syndrome. I kind of still can't believe that this is where I'm at. So my version of me is, I don't know. I feel like I'm a fun person to hang around with. I try to be entertaining and have fun and laugh. Laugh is like the key to all happiness, I feel like. So I definitely try to do that. I'd like to be, yeah, I call myself laid back, I think. I don't
D
know.
No, I dig it. So if you could,
Yeah.
let's say we get off this call, a time machine pulls up in front of your house, and you can go back in history and human history and see one event with your own eyes. Where are you going?
Ooh, this is a really good question. Um, I don't know. I think I'd have to dwell on that one for a little bit because there's so many exciting things that have happened, you know. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's cool. No worries.
Yeah.
That is an answer in itself. So if anyone out there wants to get involved with your podcast, reach out, any of the good work you're doing, where's the best place to go?
Facebook is where I'm the most active. That's Life, Love, and Travel. LIVELOVE in the letter N travel. And then I also am on Instagram often. If you're looking for the podcast, you can find it on all of the major streaming places: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, of course, and then YouTube. I just started my YouTube channel. We're still kind of working on getting like the strategy down for that, but a lot of our podcasts are posted there as well. And that is Beachside Banter with B. So, yeah.
B, this has been wonderful. Thank you. This is such a great story. Keep doing the great work. I always love those that have the chance to travel and to kind of vicariously live through all of those experiences. So it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today.
No problem. I appreciate you having me on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Take care.